So I have been thinking about making a breast collar video for some time, but it's not like a cinch, where a cinch is pretty straightforward. You have 17 strands, you have a 3-inch buckle on each end, you have D-rings in the middle, and you can make it as long as you need and put as much decoration as you want on. Now when it comes to breast collars, there are very many different options you can do. Basically you have 3 pieces, 2 chest pieces, and then a piece that goes under the chest to the girth. Now you can make it with the lark's head at the end, or you can make it roper style. And width-wise, you can make it anywhere from 9 strands to 17. And the length varies according to your horse, and the best way to measure is, if you have one that already fits your horse, to measure it when it's on your horse. There are many videos out there on how to measure your horse for a breast collar, so if you aren't sure, you can check those. So basically they come in small, average, and large, which is 32, 34, and 36. And the measurement would be from this D around to the D on the opposite end that hooks to the saddle. So this one is going to be a 34-inch breast collar. So if I measure from the middle of the O-ring to the end of the D, that is 17 inches. Now the hardware, again, you can use many different things. At the middle you have an O-ring. At the end of each chest piece, how big you need it depends on how wide you make it. This one is 11 strands, so I have a 2-inch D. You can use D's or you can use ovals, and this is where people often put fancy hardware because it's visible on the side of the horse. And then the piece that goes from the O-ring to the girth, you can make that with lark's head at the end. You can make it roper style, or I'm going to show you how to do a combination of both. Now, at the end of each of the D-rings that attach to your saddle and the end of the piece that goes to the girth, you need to have tugs that are made out of leather. You can often find those at saddle shops, and you can order them online. Now the piece that goes from the O-ring under the chest to the girth can be woven, or it can be made out of leather. You'll find them both styles. So a lot of different styles depending on what you want. Now I'm making an average size, so this is 17 inches, so I'm going to weave a piece that is 14 inches long. And to weave a piece 14 inches, I need about 10.5 feet of the 8-ply mohair. Now if you're going to make it longer or shorter, of course you need to adjust your measurement accordingly, and if you're going to have more strands, you need to add more to that 10.5 feet. Now looms, you can adapt your cinch loom to make the breast collar. What I did on this one is I turned the top bar, move this. So I turned the top bar upside down so that the hooks are facing downward, and the top I added 2 hooks that are smaller than the cinch hooks because I'm using a smaller D-ring up here, but I added them just to the top of the loom, and I only spaced them 1.5 inches. And how big of hooks and how far you should space them depends again on the size of your hardware and how wide you're making the breast collar. Now if you have a loom that has the hooks coming up from this bar or down, and you turn it over and they're coming up, you might want to put your hooks underneath the top of the loom. But I like working in front of my frame, so I have my hooks facing outward, and I put these facing outward too. Now if you have 18 holes drilled in the side of your loom, you're probably good. Mine only had 12, so I had to drill a couple more holes in my frame here. So When you start the chest pieces, you weave them just like you did the cinch. You start with the one in the middle, fold it in half and start in the middle, and then I wove 11 strands, and then I ended at the top and at the bottom and wove the little half hitches across here, and then I tucked the ends in so you can't see them. Now I'm ready to add a design. So I'll go back to weaving, add a design, and then I'll get back with you again. So I have finished one side of the breast collar, one chest piece, and I made it to match this cinch, which is very simple. So I did just a simple design on this chest piece. So if you're going to do one, I hope you do one a little bit fancier, because it is a lot of time and effort, so make it pretty nice. So now that I have one piece done, it's time to do the next piece. So I put a new D on and turn this, oops, wrong end, turn this around, and then I'm ready to start warping up again. So again, I'm going to use 10.5 feet and fold it in half so that one side is about 2 feet longer. Then when I finish warping it up, I'll have about 2 feet on each side to tuck those ends in. So unfortunately I don't have any 8-ply mohair left, so I can't finish the other half, but I'm going to go ahead and do the piece that goes to the girth. So I'm going to show you how to do that next. Okay, so I have attached about 11 feet of cord. I can probably get by with 10. I've attached it with a lark's head onto the O-ring, and at the other end I'm going to use a 1-inch D, and unfortunately I can only hook it on one of the hooks. So from the lark's head down to the D, I'm going to go over with one side, and I'm going to go under with the other side. And then it's back to the opposite end, and do a lark's head on each side. And so you want to start in the middle and then go work on each side. Trying to keep my arms out of your way here. Okay, so now you have 3 lark's head, and it's down to the opposite end again, and I'm going to go under with one side and over with the other side. And then it's back to the O-ring and a lark's head on each side. So it's over the hardware, over the cord, under the hardware, and under the cord. And again, another lark's head on this side. Okay, so I have 5 lark's head knot at this end, and oops, I've got to go over that again. So I have 5 cords at this end. Now you can see I have 5 on the top side and 4 on the bottom side. So now what I want to do is I'm going to go down and up, down a cord, up a cord, down, up, all the way across, and then I run my cord through. Now I have 4 cords on the top and 5 on the bottom. And pull that good and snug. Now I want to go up, down, down. You start with the one with the most cords. So then I'm going to run my cord through there again. Now I have 5 on the top again, so I'm going to go down and up. Down, down and up all the way across, tighten that, and put your cord through. There. So now I need to run this back through here, and I'm going to unply this and do the half hitches across. So I'm going to stop and do those, and then I'll get back with you. So I have my ends tucked in at the lark's head end, and then at the part that has the roper style finish. And I made mine about 10 inches long, and remember it's going to have a leather tug at the end of this piece. And I moved my crossbar up a few inches. Depending on what size you choose to make that piece, you may have to move your crossbar up or down to whatever size you want. So now basically, oops. So I have, take that off. So I have 2 pieces finished. And now I need to get more mohair so I can finish the other chest piece. And then put the tugs on, and it will be ready to use. Now the piece that goes to the girth, you can put decoration on it or just leave it plain. And if you put decoration on, there's not a whole lot to work with because it's a very small piece. So you could put a little triangle or some crossbars. But use your own imagination and make something nice and fancy for your horse or for your friend's horse. And I hope this gave you some ideas, because there's such a variety of styles and ways to do a breast collar that I hope I just gave you some general ideas. But happy weaving. We'll catch you again.